Doctors, lawyers, and dentists, welcome back to Sound the Siren. I'm Xavier.
I'm Dylan. Welcome to the grand final preview. A huge game coming up. The Cats, the Tigers. Today we're going to be predicting the winners, the Norm Smith, the most disposals, and for a little bit of fun, we're going to predict the winner of the halftime sprint. Dave, we may as well get straight into it. Who is your winner for tomorrow? Without bias.
Um, all right, I'm actually going to take all of my Richmond bias out of it, and I'm still tipping the Cats, and I don't think it will be close. I think it's 50-50 of who will win, but I just got a gut feeling that one of the teams is going to win by 20 plus. I think it could be Richmond, but I'm just going to tip the Cats.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I've got the Cats as well, but only by 10, just double digits. I'm really looking forward to the game. And I think the Norm Smith, for me, it depends on which team wins. Paddy Dangerfield for the Cats, I believe, and Dusty Martin for the Tigers, because they're both unbelievable and dominant players. They can insert themselves in the game and have an amazing impact. And as you said, could lead to a 25 plus margin.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I tipped Geelong, so I'm going to go with uh, Dangerfield for the Norm Smith. But as you said, if Richmond win, I see Dustin Martin winning it. I can't really see anyone outside of those two winning it, but that's just my prediction. So probably going to be wrong, but who knows?
Who knows if Tom Hawkins kicks the bag, if Gary Ablett has an unbelievable game, and what would be the perfect script, really. I'm really hoping that he does win. And in my opinion, the GOAT, I know Zave's against that, and we're going to move on from that topic. The most disposals for
I,
me.
I do have a quick question for you, Dylan.
Yeah, okay.
Would
I
you
knew it
take
was going to
Dangerfield and Martin for Norm Smith or the field
go.
on 42 hours?
No, I think Dangerfield or Dusty. It just has to be, doesn't it? Dusty's going for three, and Danger is going to be really motivated. His first grand final. He's been waiting 10 plus years, and I think he's looking forward to it, and he's going to have a huge impact on the game.
Yeah, I did post on my Instagram. There's no one in the AFL outside of all the Carlton players. There's no one I'd rather see in a grand final than Patrick Dangerfield. He's
Hmm.
been such a gun for such a long time and never made it to one. But I think he's built for the big stage and hopefully he can deliver.
Yeah, 100%. The most disposals for me, it might be a bit of a surprise. I've got Tommy Stewart, another fan favorite on here on the podcast, and he can easily rack it up in the a bit back pocket. A consistent player, he's been great all year, and yeah, just an odd prediction, but I do believe he can.
I've got Sam Menegola. I think the game's going to be won in the midfield. Obviously, there's some big stars, Dusty, Cochin, Dangerfield, Selwood, so on, so on. But Menegola, he's had a good year, and every week he just manages to find the pill. So I'm going with Menegola.
And who is your winner for the halftime sprint?
I've got Charlie Cameron. I think he might be revving his motorcycle at halftime and maybe delivering Brisbane a bit of silverware that they didn't get in the grand final.
I've got Brad Hill. Definitely bias kicking into it here. Not his best game against the Tigers in the semi, but he can redeem himself and make amends by being triumphant against a very competitive lineup.
Hmm.
Any other thoughts on the final tomorrow? This was just a quick episode, but we may as well have a few opinions or.
My first goal winner is who I think will kick the first goal. I'm going to go Mitch Duncan with no confidence at all. I think the first goal is a bit of a lottery, but I feel like he's going to get into it early and get the Cats off to a good start.
For me, it just has to be Tom Hawkins. I'm guessing the odds are low, and he's had a couple games this year where he's been either exceptional or he just hasn't put himself in it. But I think if he can kick four or five, the Cats can get over the line. And the same for the Tigers with Lynch and Revolt. If they're in form, it's seriously deadly. And Bolter has the job on Hawkins, the first gamer. So yeah, should be an interesting matchup there.
And who do you think will kick the most goals, Dylan?
Jeez, I don't want to say Tomahawk again. Look, I'll go with. I'll say Tom Lynch.
Um, I'm going to go with Dangerfield for the most goals. I think it's going to be the same as the Norm Smith for me. I think we'll see both Dusty and Danger play a lot of forward, and I think whatever team wins will be the player that kicks the most goals. But since I'm tipping Geelong to win, I'm also going to tip Dangerfield for the most goals. I think he'll have four or five.
I believe Shy Bolton may be a bit of a dark horse as well.
Mm. I
Pretty.
think maybe a dark horse for the Norm Smith because
Mm.
he's been in some ripping form this year. I know he won the best on ground award. I think it was in the Dreamtime game. He was very good then, and he's been good all season. So he's a bit of an X factor for them, and when he's on, he's on. So
And possibly Basher Hooley as well. 2017, there's a bit of controversy surrounding his possible Norm Smith, but Dusty won it, and both of them played well that game. So either way, one
as
is
well as last year, Basher Hooley was very good again last year, but
yeah.
also last week he was very good again. So he's in some good form at the moment since he's got back in. But we'll have to wait and see.
Mm. As much as I want Geelong to win, Zave, I have this visceral feeling that the Tigers will run over the top, but maybe it's just me. Dusty always turns up and is proficient in finals, and their whole list is consistent, really. You know,
Yeah,
players like Rioli, who always managed to kick a goal or two, Marley and Pickett, who played well last year in his first game, the debut that was heard around the world, really. And, you know, players like that, they can place themselves in positions where they just have these huge impacts. And for the Tigers, it's deadly.
I got another quick one for you, Dylan. I know I'm putting you on the spot here. I didn't tell you about this one, but who do you think from both teams or from like one team um, or on the whole field, who do you think will have the least disposals?
The least disposals.
Least.
Ooh, that is a tough one. The least disposal. I feel like it'd have to be a role player. I don't want to say Sam Simpson because I think he's a good player and underrated, and it's only his 15th game tomorrow. Maybe someone like Jack Graham, possibly. He has his on and off days, his hot and colds. This is a tough question you've asked me. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Maybe Jack Henry, two of the Jacks. I'm not too sure. What's your thoughts?
For me, no disrespect to him, but I think Jason Castagna will have the least disposals on the ground. Um, again, no evidence or anything to back it up, just a gut feeling. That's all I've got.
That's all you got. No, that's fair enough. Fair enough. And I have to say, I'm feeling for Jakey Arts.
Mm.
Unfortunately, forced to relinquish his role a week ago, which is devastating because he's a handy player. But as I said before, guys like Rioli maintain their spot, and even Jack Higgins is missing out. But their forward line is collaborating well, so why change it?
Yeah, I do feel for him, as you said. He throughout the second half of the season, it seemed like he really found a role in their forward line and was consistently keeping his spot in the team. And then to lose your spot just 2 weeks away from a grand final and a possible grand final victory, it's got to hurt a little bit. But hopefully he'll be back next year playing for them.
Now, I'll put you on the spot here. The topic of Tom Lynch. I hope he's not so much of a provocateur tomorrow and just plays his natural game with a sense of serenity, but I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I do agree with you. I hope that he doesn't, but I mean, history would suggest, or this year would suggest that he would. I was watching Talk of the Town, and someone said that Tom Lynch was going to kick five and win the Norm Smith, and Warren Treadray suggested that after his fifth goal, he was going to walk back and stomp on someone's head. So I found that pretty funny, but
Yeah.
hopefully it won't happen.
No, hopefully not. Hopefully not. We just want a close game, even though the majority of the nation do not want Richmond to win. I'd be happy with a close game. And I'd love a fairy tale for Gary, who I see as the GOAT. You heavily disagree with it. Danger can easily win the Norm Smith, and players like Duncan, who I think is criminally underrated, and breakout players like Menegola, Parfitt, Guthrie, the first time All Australian, and Blitzarves, they have the ability to flip the switch and turn the game on its head.
Yeah, I agree. Both teams they're so deep and so top heavy at the same time. I mean, the worst players on both teams are not bad at all, and they've got so many like all Australian caliber players, like 7 or 8 on either team. So um, I'm not going to list them. You probably already know them. So yeah, I think you might have talked me into a close game, but I'm going to stick with the 20-point margin either way.
That's fair enough. And with only one player for the Tigers in their first grand final with Noah Bolter, who has the role of Tom Hawkins, how do you think he'll play tomorrow?
Um, I don't know. I think Hawkins might get a little bit of a hold of him, but I think Bolter's going to win his own footy as well. We've seen his interceptability has been really good since he's come into the team. But last week he did lock down Dixon pretty well. So I think Hawkins and Dixon are somewhat similar in the sense that they're both big bears in the square that can ragdoll anyone in the league. So similar role for Bolter again.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he can perform and stand up on the big stage.
So Richmond have the experience, Geelong have the support, and I hope the Cats aren't too inundated by the big stage of the grand final. And I really hope Brian Myers can prove himself after a slow year, considering his giant leap in 2019.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, as you said, he was very good in 2019. I feel like he has fallen off a little bit this year, but we know he's got like match-winning ability as well as like Braden Parfitt and others on their team. But yeah, hopefully he can stand up and show us some flashes of brilliance once again.
Mm. So just a quick episode and preview of tomorrow's game. Anything else to say, Zave?
Nothing from me.
All right, well, I hope you enjoy this. The third and final episode of the team reviews will be out next week by the time you see this with a special guest. And we were going to do a finals review, but while we're here, I'll let you celebrate. Do you want to say anything on the 4-2 victory by the Lakers?
Go James, King James. I want to start off with that. But yeah, it was a good win from the Lakers and a very good fight from your Heat. So we know KCP turned up, Rondo turned up in Game 6, AD and LeBron. They were AD and LeBron for the whole series. But the owner of Big Face Coffee, Jimmy Butler, he turned up big. Bam, he came back from his injury, as did Goran Dragic in Game 6. But yeah, good win for the Lakers, and I think one more, maybe two more for LeBron.
Yeah, I agree with that. I will agree with that. Bright future for the Heat. They might be going all in, or they are going all in on Giannis Antetokounmpo next off-season. And if they can pull off a trade like that, they're seriously going to be contenders, and they already are. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to the next few years. I think it'll be the greatest season maybe in history with the Nets back to full health, the Warriors with Steph and Clay. So, yeah, I'm just looking forward to it, Zave.
As a Heat fan, Dylan, if you were to trade for Giannis this offseason, what would you be willing to give up for him?
I don't think I would this off-season. He's a free agent next season. I'd possibly run it back, maybe sign a free agent or two this year, and then try and offer him the bag next year and offer him the maximum.
What if the Bucks were looking to trade him though?
I have seen rumors about Hero, Adebayo, Duncan Robinson, and I just don't like it. I think we have the perfect team at the moment. We've got shooters, we've got Jimmy, who's a drive player, and Giannis, who can establish himself as another driving player. So if Giannis did come to us in free agency next year, I think we'd have the perfect team and well balanced. Just like the Lakers this year, except I feel like Duncan Robinson may be a bit more consistent than Danny Green at the moment.
Yeah, I think they'll be a lot deeper than the Lakers as well. I mean, we know Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero, they've both been big throughout the playoffs, in particular Duncan Robinson in the finals. And Bam, Jimmy, we know they're both all-stars, and they've got such a deep team. I think, yeah, if you sign Giannis and don't give up anything for him, I think that'll be incredible for the Heat, and we'll see some championship coming back their way, some championships.
Yeah, Tyler Hero, one of my favourites, and he's just got glimpses of Devin Booker, Klay Thompson in him, and really up-and-coming player and huge in the postseason. Kendrick Nunn, who played okay in the finals with the minutes he was given. I'm hoping he can get a spot back in the regular season and the playoffs next year because he's a good player. He had the flu, or he wasn't there for the first part of the bubble, missed out on training sessions, and therefore didn't get the minutes.
I do have one more question for you. We saw two NBA teams get completely decimated by injuries this year, in those being the Nets and the Warriors. Out of those two teams, KD's old team and his new team, who do you expect to be better next season?
I believe the Nets will be. No disrespect to the Warriors, but I just feel like anywhere KD goes, he has the ability to score anywhere on the field, really. And with Kyrie, probably the best handle in the league, I think the Nets will go further. Plus Dinwiddie, LeVert, Jarrett Allen. The Warriors are great, though. They'll for sure be contenders, and I'd love a Warriors-Lakers or a Warriors-Clippers matchup because Steph and Clay, you know what you're going to get from them. Andrew Wiggins, hopefully, can return to great form. Yeah, it'll be tight, and the Nets-Warriors finals matchup, which I personally don't think will happen, but even the regular season battles will be great. But for me, the Brooklyn Nets will be better.
Yeah, I do agree with you unless the Warriors manage to pull off some trade. We know they've got pieces. They've now got the number 2 pick. They've got Andrew Wiggins as well as Eric Pascal. So if they can pull off a trade with those three pieces and maybe throwing something else in there for, I've heard Bradley Beal getting thrown around, but Giannis as well has been thrown around previously. If they managed to get Giannis to go along with Steph Curry and Clay, I'd have to give the edge to them, but otherwise I'm still going the Nets.
Also, you know what you're going to get from Draymond Green, who just plays exceptional when the players around him are great. This year, a bit underwhelming, but under the radar, I think, because do you think he's a Hall of Famer? Just off the cuff here, quickly.
100%. Um, I think, what, 3 rings for him? I think 2 Defensive Player of the Years. We know he came up big in a game 7, dropping like 30, 13, and 9 or something.
Yeah,
That's just off the top of my head. I think it was 6 for 8 from 3 as well.
yeah.
Unfortunately, or not for me, but unfortunately for him, he couldn't get the win. But yeah, he's a certified Hall of Famer for me. Like 4 or 5 finals appearances, multiple All Stars, all defensive teams. He's 100% an All Star, a Hall of Famer for me.
So before December the 1st, which is when free agency begins, we'll definitely do an episode just reviewing each team and quickly saying what we need because there's 30 teams. So we can do about a minute for each team, maybe less, and just analyze them, just think what they could pick up to help them. But I think teams like Atlanta are going to be seriously scary in the next few years. But yeah, I'm looking forward to free agency this year. Oh, well, this year it's not going to be as great as last year, obviously, but I think
Yeah,
free
well,
agency is interesting each year.
yeah. Last year was a historically great free agency class, and this year I think it's good, but nowhere near as good as last year by any means.
Yeah, next year will be even better, but free agency is always great to watch. So until then, and until tomorrow, should be a great game then, and then after that, we don't have sports for a long time, really. But yeah,
But we will keep getting the content out, as you said, free agency, the trade period in the AFL, and we'll be back to it in no time.
yeah, 100%. Brad Crouch to the Saints is also great. Anyways, see you later. Make sure to subscribe and like the video if you enjoy them. We'll keep releasing these videos, and until next time.